Welcome back. When an older adult becomes ill, most often it's a spouse or adult child who become the primary caregiver, usually without compensation. A new study examined just how many of these family or unpaid caregivers are out there, and also the physical, emotional, and financial difficulties they experience.
This health tip is brought to you by
Desert View Hospital and Mountain Valley Physicians Group. Don't put your health on hold. We have time for you. Call us to schedule your appointment. 775-751-7100.
Judith Vick is back in medical school after taking a year off to help care for her mother, who experienced a devastating stroke.
My mom's husband, my mom, and I are really part of a team, and we help each other in big and small ways every day.
Judith had a lot to learn, including how to manage the 14 different medications her mother was taking.
I spent hours translating that vague list into a very specific schedule of what she was supposed to take when. It was like a puzzle to figure out that schedule.
Although the caregiving role is highly varied, it often involves considerable time and may affect caregivers' own health and well-being.
Dr. Jennifer Wolf from the Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health and co-authors used data from 2 nationally representative samples that provided insight into older adults and the caregivers who help them living in communities like this around the U.S. The researchers estimate that nearly 15 million of these caregivers are helping almost 8 million older adults with health-related disabilities.
About 6.5 million, or 45%, provided substantial health care help, on the order of 28 hours of care per week. We're about twice as likely to experience physical, financial, or emotional difficulty than caregivers who did not provide this help. About 1 in 4 reported their own health to be fair or poor, and about half were helping an older adult with dementia.
These caregivers also participated in fewer social or leisure activities, and if they worked outside the home, they were more than 3 times as likely to experience a loss in job-related productivity compared to individuals who didn't provide this type of help. Judith says her mom is continuing to improve, and this whole experience has brought them closer.
There are difficult parts of caregiving, but it really is such a privilege to be so involved in her care. It's definitely been an enriching and meaningful experience.
Catherine Dolf, The JAMA Report.
Researchers add that only 1 in 4 of these caregivers used supportive services, got education or training about how to provide care, or participated in support groups. Former First Lady Nancy Reagan's funeral will be held Friday at 2 p.m. Reagan will lay in repose Wednesday and Thursday before being buried Friday at the Reagan Library in Simi Valley, California, next to her husband, Ronald Reagan. The public will be allowed to visit Wednesday from 1 until 7 p.m. and Thursday from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. Reagan died Sunday in her home in Los Angeles of congestive heart failure at the age of 94. Maria Furtado was in court Thursday. A animal rights activist Bob Wamberg spoke to News 46 about the case he follows very closely.
Maria Cristina Furtado was in Judge Walker's court for a formal arraignment on 3 felony charges, and she pled not guilty. There's an issue of status of speedy trial and an issue of change of venue that was filed yesterday by her public defender.
Why did you want to change a venue?
They feel there was been a lot of publicity in Knight County, excessive, and there's an issue of the defense stating that she can't get a fair trial, or they're feeling she can't get a fair trial in Knight County.
So she's been in court since August, and this is all stemming from, can you give people a summary of what happened with this case?
Basically, it's an issue of an animal that was stolen from a neighbor. She was taken out to the desert with a 15-year-old and a 3-year-old child. The dog was executed, shot in the head, hung upside down, shot again. These are the allegations in the complaint, and that was the testimony in the preliminary hearing.
These were her own children, right?
Yes, they were.
And they also allege that she made the 15-year-old shoot the dog too.
Yeah, the gun jammed, it fell. The 15-year-old was advised to pick it up, shot the dog while it was upside down. And also it's been documented that the defendant came back, gave a bag to the parent of the dog, and in the bag was a gun, the gun that was used. The gun was laid down on a floor for about a week, unknowing to the mother, in full access of minor children. There was an allegation of a couple days prior, a duck was killed by the dog, but the dogs went back and forth to the neighbor's house. Was not uncommon. It was alleged the dog killed the duck. Nobody saw the person kill the dog kill the duck. That's what the owner told me, Rick Willis.
So what's the charges?
Charges are there's three charges right now: child abuse, neglect, and torturing an animal, and preventing a witness from or dissuading a witness from reporting a crime.
Cassandra Selbach gives students all the details on how to apply for a scholarship through Valley Electric Association.
So we are at that time of year again. We are accepting applications for this year's scholarships, which will be awarded at the Valley Electric annual meeting on April 23rd. We are giving out 5 different scholarships, 2 that are full-time academic. So these would be for a 4-year college, $1,000 per year. And then also 2 additional vocational scholarships, which are $1,000 for 2 years, and then continued education scholarship as well.
Where can they apply for these?
They can go directly to our website, and all the applications are there, along with specific instructions, and that's vea.coop.
Is that for seniors in high school right now?
It sure is, absolutely.
And then is there any criteria that they need to meet?
There are very specific instructions that are on the applications. It's fairly easy. It's not unreasonable. There's an essay that each student will be asked to write, and then there are a couple of letters of recommendation that would need to be included as well.
And tell me about the continuing education.
The continuing education application for the scholarship is actually available to anybody. So there are different occupations out there that require continued education, and so anybody can actually apply for those.
So not just high school seniors, like an adult?
That is correct. And in fact, it would probably specifically be somebody that's already working in the workforce, and they need continued education to maintain a license or their employment in that specific field.
All right. And once again, that website.
vea.coop.
And more about VEA when we return.